Has it got the plastic still on it?
There's no plastic on it, but it's full of beautiful kind of coverings, you know, those beautiful kind of doily type coverings that you'd put on top of it to kind of make it look extra nice.
Yeah.
Full of beautiful cushions. We've got
Swirly
wallpaper
carpet.
of the era. We've got nice carpet. You can imagine the red one with the very kind of traditional carpet.
Yeah.
We have the Lord's Supper image,
Of course.
and you know that's
Any
kind of
glass
on top
fish?
Oh, there's definitely. Oh boy, you know that was a common
Yes.
feature in many Caribbean homes was the glass fish, which of course denotes Christian faith, which was very common in, amongst that generation of Caribbean migrants. So yeah, we've got all of those key indicators of that culture in the space, alongside the front room. We have a kitchen and we also have a bedroom. So you get a real experience of how people went about making themselves at home in a new home.
Yes.
And we're doing that within the home of Black British history, which is how we like to think of Black cultural archives.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
How interestingly enough, there's been a few exhibitions over the years with showing the living room, the traditional West Indian living room here in the UK, and definitely I've been in those living rooms. My grandma had a living room like that, God rest her soul.
Yes.
And my great aunt had a living room like that, but never seen the actual other spaces in an exhibition. So the kitchen
true, yeah.
or the bedroom.
The bedroom, no.
So I've got a question about the bedroom.
Is it about the quilts?
No.
Is it about...
How high is the mattress?
How-
Do you need a ladder to get on it?
That is so funny. And when you have these conversations, doesn't it just evoke so many emotions?
Yeah.
You just take you back to being a little child and trying to figure out why are things the way they are? Why is this cover on there? Why does it smell this way? You know, so no, we don't have a high. We don't have a couple of mattresses for the bed. It's an accessible height. But as you mentioned, that this is not the only exhibition historically that has given people access to, you know, experiencing how homes were designed and decorated and lived in. I have to give a special shout out to one of the leading academics and curators in that field, and that is Michael Macmillan. I think you're all familiar. Did you go to the wonderful exhibition celebrating the relationship between the Caribbean and the UK at Tate recently, Life Between Islands?
Definitely, we did.
I think one of the most favourite and talked about elements of that exhibition was their installation of a home, a Black British home with Caribbean influences, and that comes from Michael Macmillan's work. So I have to shout that out. But yeah, the bedroom. I mean, come down, you know, come and see what it looks like.
Because not only do I remember that, but this will probably resonate with you guys as well, and for those listeners out there, especially those who grew up in Caribbean households. Not only was the bed pretty high, you probably needed a ladder, but you weren't allowed on it anyway. Not in your clothes anyway.
Not in your outdoor clothes.
You better take off your dirty outdoor clothes, put them to one side.
My bed is not for sitting on, my grandma used to say.
No,
it's for sleeping.
It's not for jokes. It's not for play. You have to respect that.
Within that exhibition, and I think we'll definitely go down there and check it out, right?
Yeah.
But within that exhibition, is it a full interactive experience in that if you wanted to, you could sit on the bed, or if you wanted to, you could sit on the sofas? Because at the Tate, it was fully immersive, so it wasn't just a barriered off front room. But you could sit on the sofa, you could touch the ornaments, you could, and that really brought it. And there were so many people in that space.
Lisa's looking at like, don't touch anything.
I'm saying the Tate is the Tate.
I just saw her face like, you want to touch the thing?
You don't know about how they think about how things were working back then, but this is the Black Cultural Archive.
Yeah.
So we go,
don't touch nothing.
No, but try it. Don't. We have to respect it.
Okay.
So, we don't encourage people to make themselves comfortable in the furniture. It really is a display of contemporary antiques. And many of them have been donated by families, and we want them to be here for posterity, so that people can enjoy and see the lives that we led. So to that extent, we have to make sure they're protected. And also in line with our culture.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense to allow people
More
to jump in the bed.
importantly.
So no. But we do want people to come and really reflect. And I was really keen. I mean, I had conversations with people about this exhibition, my friends and colleagues, particularly those in the art space. And Windrush is not a rosy subject for me. You know, it's a bittersweet conversation. And I think I really wanted to encourage. Many people have come into the exhibition already and started to well up because it evokes so much emotion. It takes you back to being young. There's a paraffin heater in the bedroom. You know, how many people have said, "Oh, I remember that team bun me up how many times when I was younger." You know, told off so many times for avoiding it.
Yeah.
Some people well up because it reminds them of beloved grandparents who are no longer here. And then other people well up for even more difficult reasons because it evokes difficult memories of family life or ongoing challenges of being of that generation, being descendant from that generation. And we know that the issues have not been resolved. They're far from resolved. So I'm really, although it's a nice to do thing and it's easy to have a conversation, reminiscing, the good old days. Really? They were challenging days. They were amazing, pioneering days, but I'm against a collapsing and a simplification and a generalization around Windrush. You know, I just read Professor Gus John's some of his words against. I think he is against the simplification. He's against the whole Windrush moniker because it does just flatten it, and it's not something that can be flattened. So I do want the exhibition to foster honest conversation, reminiscences, sweet reminiscences, yes, but also, so what do we do? How do we collaborate? How do we build from here?
Yes. And I'm sure you're hoping the younger generation will come and see because they wouldn't have experienced any of that as well.
It's true. Some of these are like inherited memories that we are giving them an access to experiencing in the flesh. I really do want it to enable, you know, parents of my generation to talk to their kids and go, this is how my granny grew up, you know, because maybe they didn't know that elder. And so they can reconnect and have a deeper sense of their identity. They can start to flesh that out. And I hope it does instill some pride, because one of the key things that I take from it is these people who built those homes, that's resilience, that's power against the odds. Sometimes joy, a lot of times struggle, pain, hardship, and yet we persist, we're here as evidence of their achievements in that respect.
Yes, and their strength.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're the interim managing director at the BCA, Black Culture Archives. How have you adjusted to that role? Because it's quite a large responsibility for, you know, a culturally iconic, you know, centre. How has that been for you?
It's a deep honour and a dream job. So I was a volunteer 20 years ago at Black Cultural Archives. It was the first place that I volunteered for in London after graduating in my master's in human rights at Essex University. And it goes deeper than that, because when I was 17 and studying my French A-level, I went on French exchange and I met this other beautiful girl. Her name was Jacine, and she happened to be the niece of Len Garrison. We met in Brussels.
Oh, wow.
It's like, you're my kind of person. You like Jamiroquai? Oh, I like Jamiroquai as well. Okay, cool. We started to connect, and as our friendship developed over the years, she told me about this amazing organization that her uncle had started. She goes, you're going to love this, Lisa. Because she could tell that I was into culture, history, that kind of thing. But it wasn't until I graduated from my master's that I got a chance to visit Black Culture Archives, which was on Cold Harbour Lane at the corner there. And, you know, Len was still around. Sam Walker was the librarian, the guy looking after everything in the archive. And that's when I fell in love with Black Cultural Archives. So I didn't imagine 20 years on, I would have the supreme honor to steward the organization forward into an era that I hope it will be one of real impact for the community. what's brilliant and amazing about Black Cultural Archives is that, yes, it is the home of Black British history. It's one of the longest lasting Black-led cultural organisations in the whole of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's 40 years old.
Yes.
And it was born from the uprisings.
Yeah.
It has a political agenda inherently, a mandate around facilitating, making it possible for us to have a really just society that gives people the freedom to be themselves on their own terms, and particularly Black people. Let's just be real about it. The reason why Black Cultural Archives exist is because Len, as an education activist, understood that giving people access to their history through documents, through objects, through organizational papers of people being active and making things happen would empower them and enable them to navigate the reality of racism in schools, in their experience with the police, in their experience with of the healthcare system, and in general. It's there to empower society to be more inclusive and more just. That's the whole part of it. And I feel now, 40 years on, its role is more urgent than ever.
Than ever before.
Because I never thought...
So you've got a big responsibility.
Yes, big responsibility. Before I go on,
we definitely...
It's a huge responsibility. I take it very seriously.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah.
And you're very passionate, and we can just see that you actually really care. And that's
it's
the most important
it's
thing.
my community, it's my people. I became a young woman through Brixton. I knew this area. Went to all the clubs around here. It's familiar territory to a certain extent, but I didn't necessarily see for the future that I would be part of the really thriving leadership of organisations moving things forward. And many of my contemporary leaders are Black, and that's really exciting.
That's
so with
powerful.
Brixton House, Impact Hub, Brixton Village, Diana, and we're all coming together with other Brixton organisations. That's really key, to collaborate and make sure that the benefits of how Brixton is developing are available for everybody.
That's right.
And with due respect for those people who enabled Brixton to be as amazing as it is. And that owes a lot to the contributions from African Caribbean and other African diaspora organisations. And on that note, in terms of going forwards, I'm really keen that BCA does become even more open and welcoming to the full breadth of the Black community. It's not just about the African Caribbean story, it's about the Afro-Latina community, East African community, also in terms of age, gender. All of those conversations have to be had.
Well, you are definitely in the right place to let the world know. But Lisa, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Loving feeling your passion and your enthusiasm and your optimism and all the plans I know that you have for the BCA, and look forward to experiencing home the exhibition.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Last thing is, come down. Visit our new website, please. BCA blackculturalarchives.org. .uk, because we've just relaunched it, and please become a Friends member and support our ongoing success.
Very important.
That's my last plug.
No
Thank you, guys.
problem. Thank you very much, Lisa.